Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the third meeting of the Faenza Prize talks. Together we will have 6 artists from the categories under and over 35. So we are very happy that they join this opportunity of sharing their works together in advance to the exhibition that will be open to the public the 1st of July, but the opening ceremony will be June the 3rd. So if you have any question to address to the artist, please put them on the chat, and we will answer at the end of all the presentation. So we will start with the first artist, Felicithas Arndt from Germany, category under 35. So hi Felicitas, it's a great pleasure to meet you, and we would like you to introduce the work you submitted to the Faenza Prize called Madrepora. Something belonging to geology and ceramic, so it's a great tribute also to nature. The word is yours.
Hello, my name is Felicitas Arndt. I'm from Germany, and I am an artist with focus on ceramics and painting, printmaking, etching, and drawing. The work I have submitted is called Madrepora. The title is from an ancient coral structure which lives in the sea, which is a couple of hundred of millions of years old. The sculpture itself is a large-scale ceramic sculpture in about human size, so I built it in 1.4 meters height, and it is hand-built. The main body is hand-built, and I applied a surface structure onto it, and the small parts are 3D printed, so it's a combination of various techniques. The surface structure is the structures are a technique which I derived from printmaking, where I started off with drawing small-scale structures, and I transferred this printmaking technique onto the surface of the ceramic sculptures objects. And furthermore, I use these structures to build objects which are not only made for humans, not only as artworks, but also sculptures for nature, in small insects or animals. And in this big sculpture, especially corals can attach to these structures and grow on it. So this big sculpture is built for the sea, for the ocean, and it is inspired also by 3D printed ceramic objects which scientists have developed to reforest coral reefs. And this object is also an object which where coral reefs should grow on it. Yes, so it's a series of works which I have built, and these are by now 3 objects of this series. Yes, furthermore, these are smaller objects that I have built, also in the shape of corals a little bit, but not the same as corals. So I draw my inspiration from the underwater world a lot and from the natural world. And these are also objects that should be placed outdoors, for nature to consume it, to attach to it, to emerge with it.
So the scale is very big for the one that you submitted to the prize. So I read it's 1 meter and 40, so it's very big one, and it is very linked to the deep forest of the sea, because it's something related to corals And do you always have this idea of connecting your work to nature? Is it something that you are? It's a thematic that you are developing in these years.
Yes, I would say this is my main theme, because it's also my personal belief and artistic view on if I make a sculpture, an object, it especially made of ceramics, it will be there in the world for a couple of thousands years, of years maybe. So if it's already structured for nature to attach to it, then it's for me a wholesome thought. Yeah.
Yeah, great. It's something that we would like to see in presence, because it seems to be very astonishing. Okay, thank you, Felicitas. And if there will be question from the public, we will address you after all the speech. And now we pass to Uriel Caspi from Israeli, but he is a traveling artist because in this month he went around the world, because once we contact him was in Korea, the other one was in Japan, and then now he is in Taiwan. So the traveling Uriel will introduce us to his work, which is a lustreware installation, and the microphone is yours.
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Taipei, Taiwan. I'm here working at the Inge Ceramics Museum in Taipei. I'm a research fellow here at the museum. As you said, Claudia, I've traveled from Korea to Japan and Taiwan, exploring ceramics here in the East, at the Far East. And I'm looking forward for the exhibition in Faenza. So thank you for hosting us. In Faenza, I will display an installation of works that call Paradisa. That's the title of the installation. This is installation of large-scale lusterware ceramics sculptures that it's inviting. It's a platform for indirect interaction between the viewer and the artist, myself. In this installation that you see now in the pictures, which is quite big, it's about 3 meter by 3 meter tiled floor, glazed in luster. Over these tiles, I situated about 10 or 12 ceramics sculptures that are inspired by domestic animals like cat, dog, bunny, a rat. What else there? And these are kind of inhabit the installation territory and creating an habitat that is where it's a term that's used in the natural science to describe an area or a space where organism makes its home, and where the organism can survive and thrive. So in this installation, the animals kind of thriving through the luster, this pool of lusterware. And Paradisa, it's from the Proto-Iranian word for paradise, right? So which is enclosed space, enclosed garden. So I'm inviting the viewer to explore this enclosed space of flora and fauna. I'm in the last 7 years, I'm compulsively researching the technique of luster, which is one of the most challenging techniques in ceramics, because part of my research, I'm reviving ancient techniques from antiquity, and one of them is lusterware, which is techniques from the 6th century in Mesopotamia, and it has been a really long process for me to master this technique and how to achieve this reflective surface by using precious metals like silver and copper and sometimes gold also. So the idea is also that the viewer can see himself or herself within the work, because they are really, really shiny like mirrors. So the viewer can see himself in the sculpture and he's basically part of the sculpture. So here is installation of another large scale sculptures that I title Oasis. It's from 2021. It was displayed in a sculpture space gallery in New York City. And this is again, it's a spiky lawn. Everything is ceramics, whatever you see in this picture, the tiles and the sculptures. They are all made, the sculptures are all made by using ropes. In my process, I'm using ropes to build sculptures, large scale sculpture. This is based on an ancient technique from the Mediterranean, which called jarre à la corde, which is kind of a technique that almost vanished due to industrialization in Europe. And they used to build large pots for oil, for wine, to store oil and wine in them. And I converted this technique and used it for building sculptures. I'm also using some digital fabrication, as you can see. The tiles are all designed in AutoCAD program, and I use the CNC machine to produce my prototypes, and then using molds to multiply the tiles. I can't hear
you can hear me?
Right now, I can
okay, hear. Great. It's very interesting, the fact that you connect your modern language with the ancient techniques like lusterware or jarre à la corde. And it's I think that it will be also a good opportunity if you can join us in Faenza to see our lusterware production and to make a comparison.
I have been 1.5 years ago to Gatti Ceramics.
He is still producing lusterware, but we have a long tradition in Faenza for this.
Yeah,
so thank you very much, Uriel, for your speech, and see you later for the question. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Now we give the floor to Magdalena Gerber from Switzerland. She is introducing us this installation trust, which is the result of a performance made in the Ariana Museum in Geneva, and I give you the floor.
Thank you. My name is Magdalena Gerber. I live and work in Geneva. In Geneva, I'm also the teacher and the leader of the ceramic department called Czechko. I'm an artist. I work essentially with ceramics. And for this work, it's called Trust. I think you can just a bit switch between the both pictures to have a detail. Yeah, great, thank you. The work is really a project in frontier of political action and a sculpture, and it's inspired from this taily sticks in the Middle Age, and since 20th century in Switzerland, it was used to connect it and share Alps, or share when you have when you have take money from someone, you can, it was shared to look when how it fits together to put it, to give again back. In Ariana Museum, I made 3 performances when the people can come and take freely one part of these sticks, and they can take it away, and they give the money, the value inscribed, carving it with porcelain, give it on a charity. So this idea was really this migration about the money in the world. And if you can see, the pieces really fit together. It's a black stoneware, massive black stoneware, modeling, cutting, carving, and it was it's an inlay with porcelain. And the signs are inspired about counting, about also sticks I find in my researches, what I find when they carve it from the Alps, how many cows you can put on which farmer can put how much cows on an Alp. It was everything carved, and in the end of the summer, it was also carved how much the cows give the milk, and so in the end you can take how much cheese you can take. Everything was really carved with wood, and it's a long tradition from the Middle Age, since I already said it, in the Middle Age, from this time. For me, also in other works I made, the thing of sharing, to be in action, also mentally in action with the pieces, or also with the objects. I made once a work called Tablé in the Musée Rat. It was plates, printed plates, and on a huge dinner, the people can go back with the plate on the end of the dinner. But it was the moment to sharing. Also in this kind of works, wasn't manipulated, but it was also this kind of idea that the pieces can be actioned. And the next picture, that's a work I made also again. It's to put the persons in the middle of the work. It's in the Musée Borelli, the collection of the Musée Borelli in Marseille. And on the renovation of this museum, I was filming the people, and on every plate is a person you see in action, the person, the workers who renovate the space. And the laser engraving on the plates are as signs that the architects make on the wall to say here is the layer to put the painting on tail, or here you have to make a hollow. So it was small inscribing, and you see small marks in gold. There was really the painting is coming up, falling up on the wall, and they paint them again as a continent, geographical continent on this plate. So this idea that layer and layer, the huge castle was decomposed, and again it's come back on my plates. And it was really nice on the opening. The workers, the carpenters, come back and look, it's me. They really show what's before, and with the whole family to show. It was really to give value on the works, on the real persons who made this craftsmanship. It's really in the center in this work. What they put on the last piece, that was the last exhibition, more sculptural work in the Musée d'Art et d'Histoire in Neuchâtel. There are huge discs, 60 centimeters diameter, and placed in on these 3 faces of the space. It's also black polished stoneware. the work is called Hecat. It's 13 moons going around, all this idea of black moons and the imagination of a world who doesn't exist or doesn't exist anymore, all this idea of a fiction. Yeah. So it's, yeah.
Thank you, Magdalena. It's a very interesting work between art and political action. We have always this problem, perhaps, in involving the public in the situation of artistic situation. But how do you approach the public, and how do you involve it in your artistic situation?
Yeah, in this work, it was really the idea that it's our moment, specific moment where I meet the people. I explain a bit, but it's also that the people can touch the piece and take it off. But it was on 3 Mondays, and they also inscribe her name in a register that they really engage them to give the money on a charity. And yesterday I received a letter from one charity, and he said, "Thank you very much. We received this amount from this person, not from this person. We received of your work. We received this amount for our charity." And they say, "Okay, the people are really." Really play the game that the trust, this idea of trust. Now in Switzerland we have a big problem with 2 banks about trust. It's all the time about this money and trust between the persons and between also the value of the artwork.
Yeah, it's very important, the trust now in all the situation, and I'm very happy that the visitors trust you and your work and your idea. So thank you very much for sharing with us this idea that could be something on which other artists can work on. So good point. We will go on with our list of artists, and we will give the microphone to Ivan Kanchev from Bulgaria. Ivan is presenting for the Faenza Prize the work Plate Passing. It's a kind of tribute to Mother Earth. So Ivan, he will be assisted by a translator, and I thank her for this opportunity of sharing with us the word by Ivan. We don't hear you.
Now, can you hear?
A little bit.
Okay, so I'm going to translate what Ivan is saying.
I think that you have to disconnect the microphone, perhaps, because there is a noise on the background.
Now, can you hear?
A little bit better.
Can you hear now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry for the problem.
No,
Okay,
no
let's
problem.
start.
Моето участие в наградата Faenza.
My work participating in the 62nd Faenza Prize is part of this series, Men, Where Are You? Night Visions.
В основата на творчеството
As an intuitive artist, I accept the instinct triumphs knowledge. That's why I placed great value on intuition as a pure foundation for creativity. I don't like to explain my work. I work on impulse, I see the works ready in my mind with details and colors.
В основата на творчеството са свободата, разнообразието и стабилите.
Uh, the basis of creativity is freedom, variety, and individuality.
Творбата трябва да е оригинална, неизградна художественост, независимо каква форма тя ще се даде.
Творбата трябва да бъде оригинална. The work has to be original. It has to build artistry, no matter what form it takes.
Уникална е способността на изкуството да създава автономни паралелни светове.
Art's ability to create autonomous parallel world is unique. That's why
Затова имам либерално отношение към света на изкуството.
I have a liberal attitude towards the art world and the artist within it.
Държа на дълбинния план на творбата, затова поставям актуални универсални въпроси на социален и философски характер.
I hold on the profound plan of the work, so I put forward actual and universal questions of a social and philosophical nature.
Търся нови синтетични форми с оригинална техника на изразяване.
I look for new synthetic forms with original technique of expression.
Като търся приемственост с многопластовата и хилядолетна култура по българските земи, стремя се към универсалност.
Seeking continuity with the multi-layered millennial culture of the Bulgarian lands, I strive for universality.
Последните ми творби могат да се възприемат като скулптура, обекти, инсталации, съвкупната мозайка, живописна планина. Това е формално.
My recent works can be perceived as sculpture, objects, installations, pottery, panels, mosaics, paintings. This is formal.
В тях се изявяват графични моменти, релефи, рисунки и фотографии.
They contain graphic moments, reliefs, drawings, and photographs.
За изработката на творбите използвам различни видове глина, глазура, сажди, дърво, хартия, метал, смола, полиуретан.
I use various types of clay, glaze, soot, wood, paper, metal, resin, and polyurethane to make the works.
Приемам излъчването на творбата за най-важно, държа на естествената съвместимост на керамиката.
I take the radiation of the work as the most important. I insist on the natural suggestiveness of ceramics.
В търсене на новост продължавам да развивам древните техники на черната керамика и черната скулптура, идваща от преисторията и туркийското изкуство по български земи като живопис, използвайки техниката на мозайка, действаща на паното, самите ръка хода на мисъл.
In search of the innovation, I continue to develop the ancient techniques of black pottery and black sculpture, coming from prehistory and Thracian art in Bulgarian lands, as painting using the technique of mosaic and the structure of the wall panel. It's amazing how the fire paints.
Аз представям човек, който търси си бягаш в лабиринта на живота.
In my works, I present men as running and searching in the labyrinth of life.
На откриването на моята последна изложба в Света сподели с аудиторията, че за мен изкуството е път, пространство, вселена, не толкова обект, предмет или нещо, което подлежи на някакъв култ.
At the opening of my latest exhibition, Professor Peter Tsanev shared with the audience that for me, the art is a path, a space, a universe, not so much an object, an item, or something that is subject to a code.
И наистина е така. Аз се опитвам да предизвикам зрителя да се замисли за смисъла на съществуването.
And really it is. I try to challenge the viewer to think about the meaning of existence.
Опитвам го непряко да си говори на вечно актуалните въпроси, свързани с човешкото поколение.
I encourage him indirectly to answer the eternally relevant questions of human existence.
Къде произлиза човекът, къде се е запътил той и наистина ли носи себе си човешкото.
Where does man come from? Where is he going? And does he really carry the human within him? And in what direction is the world going?
В каква посока върви светът? В колапс ли е Земята майка?
Is the Mother Earth in collapse?
Това са загадващи и питащите послания на художествения език и сме че това с основно състояние на свободата и трудност на право да съществуваш.
There are the elusive and questioning messages of my artistic path and language, and I believe this is the basic condition of freedom in the human right to exist.
So thank you, Ivan, for your speech, and I really appreciate your effort to share with us your work and your poetry. And it's very interesting the fact that you use this black pottery to express your work, but also other languages, as you said, mosaics, mood, and other. And just to create something linked to existence and to question about human being. So it's a work very deep, and so thank you for sharing with us your work. So now we pass to another artist, Peter Johnson from USA, that we know because he was also in the previous selection. Thank you, Peter, for being with us. And you are presenting the word yellow cascade, which is atypical of your work, a structure in contrast between soft and hard. And the microphone is yours.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me back. It's an honor to be here with all these great artists and to take time with you all today. So, you know, my work kind of explores several themes. I play with this idea of structure and architecture. I'm interested in the idea of time and how the objects I make are kind of meticulous and labored with, you know, numerous thousands of little bits assembled. I want it to feel sort of labored like the building of a bridge. I'm interested in this idea of collapse and that how sometimes the work is sort of capturing or freezing that moment of time. And, you know, there's the different bodies of work or the different works explore that differently. And this piece that's submitted to the prize this year, it's a larger sort of architectural form. It doesn't actually move as much as some of my work. Where I'm often using the glaze is this added weight that's going to distort and change the form. So in some ways, these are explorations of material. It's about play. It's about the beauty of porcelain and how it's pyroplastic and flexible at that temperature. It's about how the weight of this glaze can sort of cascade and fall through this grid system. In other works where I'm referencing an object in the world, let's say this is a cathedral, I think there's more of a metaphorical implication in the work where I have these buildings that start to collapse and twist as they're set up to be distorted. So if I'm playing with buildings more directly or bridges or other forms from our world, I think that collapse becomes metaphorical. So I kind of fluctuate between this idea of formal material exploration and also this sort of sorrowful poetic moment where I want to capture this collapse as a bit of a metaphor for the human condition, I think. And my work, you know, basically explores all those different themes in the different ways. I might have another image here. Let's see. You know, sometimes that comes in the form of a larger installation, right? So this is a grouping of objects placed on a wooden scaffolding where you have a sort of a monolith in concrete with these materials playing off one another in that grouping to sort of, I want it to have a certain emotional weight, I guess is the goal when I have that piece displayed. And the last image here, I think, is back to one of those material explorations, right? Where I I'm trying to see what I can have the glaze do. In this case, it's holding together this nested form. It's also meant to capture this moment of time where this really luscious drip starts to fall, and see if I can suspend that action at a particular moment. So those are the themes in my work.
And one question, is it porcelain you are using?
Yeah, this is porcelain. These are fired at roughly 1300 Celsius. I think I could do the conversion in my head. Yeah, so. Yeah,
it's very particular, and this metaphor of human being and this collapse. So we are a big structure, but the glaze is always arriving and creating something moving and not preventable, and so that's really something to think of. And the scale of your work is always different, as I saw, and you are putting together also installation, and so the work for the Faenza Prize is a big scale, a different scale from your usual, and we are wondering to see it in presence, because in these days we just saw images, and now we will see it in presence. So thank you very much for sharing with us your work. And the last one is Maria Joanna Juchnowska. She was born in Poland but living in Norway, and she sent us a video explaining her work and her poetry, and so I will ask Stefania to put it online.
Hello, my name is Maria Joanna Juchnowska. I am an artist and designer. I'm based in Norway. I'm originally from Poland, but I live many years abroad. I'm really grateful to be in such an amazing group of artists, and it's a big honor for me to share my work and show it to the world. I have been working with ceramics for quite long now, about 20 years. It's more than half of my life, and I have been selected for the exhibition and for the prize, Faenza 62nd Faenza Prize, with a work that I will speak on a little bit later. But it is a part of series that I have started in 2017 with a work called Egg Vessels. I started collections a few years ago in 2017, and this particular work, Egg Vessel with a gold pipe, is made during my residency time at Meissen manufactory in Germany. I was fortunate to work there with amazing craftspeople and painters, and to work in all this factory in the Europe, all this porcelain factory in Europe. So my adventure of Egg Vessels started then, 2017, 2018. And then I started experimenting and treating the shape of egg as a canvas, as an empty canvas, and experimenting with different looks, experimenting with different stories associated with this particular collection of works. I am a little bit attached to this shape, which I have divided into two halves, primarily inspired by, of course, egg shape, but as well it's a functional object where you can divide it into parts, take the top away and have it as a ball, as well have it as a vessel for a display of the flowers, or just on its own as a decorational object. This red one that we see here now, it's called Egg Vessel Kingstogi Red. I made it in 2020. After my stay in China, one of the pieces in my suitcases broke. I was really upset because it was one of the kind. I put it under the sofa, and after half a year I came back, and first time in my life I did restoration on the piece with the gold, the Japanese way. And in 2022, last year, the piece got awarded at A Design Awards. I got bronze for it. It was as well very interesting competition, which is as well based in Italy. So another link to Italy. Last year in September, I was fortunate to take part in symposium in Finland, in Arctic Circle. There's a little article here and a few pictures from the exhibition. And I was able to create the piece that got selected now for Faenza prize. It's predominantly inspired by by Nordic lights, by long days. I have been living for a few years now in Scandinavia, few years, over a decade, a few years. So it's really close to me, this topic. But actually the first time I have opportunity to express myself and to create piece with totally new technique I haven't tried before. So I'm really happy that I managed to do that. And yes, thank you very much. And see you at the exhibition. Thank you.
So this is the video from Maria that tried to explain her work, starting again from a traditional form like the egg and the vessel, and exploring this idea of painting and putting also inside different experiences, like the one of the environment of Scandinavian in the pieces submitted to the Faenza Prize. So now we go to all the artists and to see them again in this panel. And I don't see many questions and comments online, but I'd like to ask you if you wanted to add something to your presentation, or something that we missed to say about your work. Otherwise, I will give you the invitation for next Tuesday. And next Tuesday, the chairwoman will be Judith Schwartz, who is part of our jury, and she will meet Frank Lewis, Yves Malfi, Gareth Masterson, Noah Chernikowski, Lin Dong, and Darien Arikowski-Johnson. So another great panel of artists with different poetries and different ideas of ceramics, all put together in the category over and under 35. So thank you very much for the artists for being with us, of course, and for the public for staying with us. And this recording meeting, this meeting will be recorded and available on our YouTube channel, and together with the other two talks of last weeks. So thank you very much, and see you next week. Thank you. Bye.